Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Buttram with the Trussville Tribune. Our Tribune news anchor, Brandon Dawkins, is with us. And this will be our fifth political forum of the 2016 election year. It sure is. And tonight we have place number three. Trussville City Council, place number 3 candidates. There are 3 candidates. We only have 2 in here with us, in the studio with us tonight. Would you like to break down who we have and who we don't have?
I would. So tonight we have Jeff Freeman and we have Anthony Irwin, and we're not sure what's happened to Tommy Brewer. He may just be running late and show up shortly, but he had confirmed. But that's who we have with us tonight. We were supposed to later this evening have the seat in Clay. We're not going to have that tonight because Bo Johnson became sick, and so we're trying to reschedule that forum for next week.
We hope to have those 2 next week. We've still got the Trussville Mayor Forum, which will be August 10th of next week. If you want to go ahead and mark your calendar now, that's going to be a big forum. But we've got a big one tonight.
We do.
In this place, 2 candidates for an open seat.
That's right.
Because I think their seat was occupied by Buddy Choate.
I think so.
Wasn't he number 3? And Councilman Choate is challenging incumbent Mayor Gene Melton and Anthony Montalto for the Trussville mayor's position. So this is an empty seat.
It is.
And has been filled for 8 years. So this will be quite a change coming up. One of these guys, or Mr. Brewer, will be the new councilman.
All right. Well, let's let them get started with their opening comments if you want to. Anthony, if you'd like to start us off with your opening comments, you've got 2 minutes.
Hello. I'd like to start off by thanking the Trussville Tribune for hosting this forum. My name is Anthony Irwin, and I'm running to be your Place 3 Trussville City Councilman. My family and I moved to Trussville 4 years ago in search of better schools for my little brother and sister. And boy, did we find them. You could say that it was at this point that I really fell in love with our city and its people, even though I began to fall in love with the city long before that, when I was playing rec league baseball in the city, where I was introduced to Trussville's culture and people for the first time. I recently graduated from the Jefferson County IB School in Irondale and will be starting at the University of Alabama on the 17th. Even though I will be taking courses down in Tuscaloosa, I have set up my schedule so that I will be free on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and every other afternoon so that I can come up to our city and serve the people I've grown to love over the past 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Jeff, it's your turn.
Jeff Freeman, Place 3, and I'd like to also thank you, the Tribune, and Anthony for the interest that he has in politics and the political process. I think it's wonderful that we get young people involved. I decided to run for Place 3 when I found that Buddy was going to run for mayor, and so I decided to run for an open seat after having been involved with the Downtown Redevelopment Authority for the past 5 years, since its inception. I felt that there was an opportunity to do something more in that area if I would continue to be involved and to become a council member. My family and I have lived here for 24 years. We have thoroughly enjoyed it. I've had 3 children that went through Trussville schools. All 3 graduated, went to college, and are now employed. So we've experienced Trussville schools firsthand. We feel like that the things that we can do going forward are to complete some projects that have gone uncompleted, as well as push to develop the downtown area, which is a common theme among many of the people running for office, as well as enhance the things that we have by inviting other people to be in town and other businesses. So we hope that we can accomplish that.
Thought you want to get started with our first question?
Yeah, we'll get started with the first one. Anthony, we're going to start with you on this first question. Jeff, you'll be answering the same question. List in order of priority the 3 most important things facing the city of Trussville.
Right now, the 3 most important things facing our city are the downtown redevelopment. That's the most important thing because we need to get our city looking great so we can bring in new businesses. And the second thing is the unfinished projects, in my opinion. We have so many unfinished projects, and a lot of them are really just eyesores in our community, and we need to fix them because businesses, again, aren't going to want to come to a city where we have unfinished parks and things like that. And third, in my opinion, is the property the city owns. We own so much property, and the city shouldn't be the primary landowner in the city, and I think that's really important.
Okay, Jeff, would you answer the same question, please?
Sure, I'd probably turn the first two upside down. I think the first thing that we need to do is complete some of the projects. We've got Civitan Park in downtown Trussville that has gone incomplete in various states of finish since, gosh, I don't know when. I did determine in my research that the first check was written to start that project in 1999, which was the same year my oldest child graduated from high school. So it's really created some issues, and I think that that's something that should be done, regardless of whether it's being administered by ALDOT. You just can't have a project in the center of your city that is not completed. And then second thing, I think, is the revitalization and enhancement of downtown. I think that we need to create some things there that will draw people into downtown. The third thing would be to attract businesses, not only in downtown, but in other areas of our city, which again is one reason that I decided to move from the Redevelopment Authority and seek the seat on the City Council, because I think that some of the skills that I have can be used to enhance other parts of town too.
Thank you both for that. You both mentioned unfinished projects as one of your three priorities, and you both mentioned Civitan Park. Anthony, beginning with you, how would you complete Civitan Park?
Well, we know it's an ALDOT project, and so I think the city needs to take it back, and once the city gets it, we can prioritize it and put money into it and be able to finish it.
That's an interesting response. What would be the ramifications of the city taking it back? Would the city be required to repay the $1.4 million in the federal grant that they received?
Yeah.
They would? Okay. Mr. Freeman, same goes for you. How would you go about finishing Civitan Park?
Well, you can work with ALDOT and complete it. I think we can put pressure on them through the various political representatives that we have. I really don't think that we've really stressed, pushed, pulled, and tried to work with them to the extent that we could. And in the event that didn't work, yeah, you'd certainly have to consider just forfeiting everything that you had and moving forward. I just don't think you can allow a project that's in the very, very center of your town to go that many years and look the way that particular project has looked.
Do you think the stage where the park finds itself now, if you took office, would you be willing to pull the project back from the federal government, repay the $1.4 million grant, and have the city take over at this point? Or do you think it's far enough along that you'd let them complete it?
I would have to investigate it more, Scott, to make sure that was the right decision to make. Quite frankly, at this point, I don't have enough information to make that determination.
Thank you. Brandon?
One or both of y'all mentioned that the city owns a lot of property. Some of it has been done as you well know, Jeff, for downtown redevelopment purposes, but some of it is way outside of that area. So what is your position on that property, and what do you think we should do with it? Let's start with Jeff.
Well, actually, Anthony mentioned that, but I'll be glad to field the question since that information, I feel fairly certain, came from a piece of information that I garnered in my research, where I have a spreadsheet that shows all the property that is owned by the city, and it totals, at a conservative estimate, the value of that property is $36 million. Now that does include some school property, that does include some downtown redevelopment property. For downtown redevelopment, I think we've invested a total of $500,000. That's not very much when you look at that pool of assets. And some of it's carried at acquisition cost, which it was acquired many years ago. There are multiple things that I have already learned that we can do to use that property to secure loans where we can develop parks, use it as collateral in doing other things. Certainly we can begin to develop and sell some of that off. You hear lots of things on why that property was acquired, and having been involved and been to many city council meetings over the past number of years, one that comes to mind is the old chicken plant, which I don't think anybody would say that they wanted an old chicken plant where it was. But when it was being acquired, the discussion was to use it for public works and move public works from behind the library. Grand idea. It's just never occurred.
Anthony, same question, your position on that property and what you think should be done with it.
Well, we need to look at each individual property and see what the potential it has to serve the city. And if we find that it doesn't have the potential to be a park or anything like that, we need to liquidate it so we can use that money to fund other projects.
Thank you both. We're going to move on to another question now. We know that downtown redevelopment is an important issue with our readers and with the residents of Trussville. We also think one of the important issues with the residents of Trussville is crime prevention. Trussville is a city of 21,000, but we host shoppers that are probably in the hundreds of thousands with our shopping centers. Is our police force currently equipped and staffed to the point that we can protect those shoppers when they come into Trussville? That's the first question. Second question is, if not, what would you do to correct that? Jeff, we'll start with you on this.
Well, again, I'm going to have to say that I don't really have enough information as an outsider looking in to answer that question as thoroughly as I would like. I think that our police force does a great job now. I've had the unfortunate opportunity to call them once or twice, and they have always been Johnny on the spot when I needed them. So I think that they do a great job. Are they understaffed? That's very possible, especially as we're approaching opening a new fairly major shopping center on Highway 11. So we certainly could look at needing additional personnel. I'm a big believer that we've got a safe city, and that's one of the things that attracts people to our city. And I think we need to pursue and continue to do that. So if the requests come that we need additional personnel, as a councilman, I would consider it very, very strongly.
Thank you. Anthony, same question for you. Does the current staffing of the police department meet the needs of a city that draws many thousands more than its current population?
I think there's always more we can do for our law enforcement officers to help them do their jobs. And I think our police department is understaffed. We have a great police department, but they don't have enough people, especially with the new shopping center coming in. We need more officers that are able to patrol the streets and crack down on crime. And I also think that it'll be a big thing to get body cameras for our police officers. And I think this is one of the reasons the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed me, was that they believe that I'm the best candidate to serve the police and make sure their best interest is served.
Just to follow up to that, what would you say the shortage is in officers? Do you know what our current number of officers, patrol officers are, and what number we would need to shoot for to bring it up to the standards you think it needs to meet?
I'm not sure what the current number is, but just going around the city, you see officers every now and then, but I don't see nearly as many as we should at our shopping centers, like the Pinnacle, or up at where Walmart and Sam's is. Okay. We need more.
Okay.
Anthony, I have a couple questions for you specifically. I admire your run at such a young age. However, I've had a lot of life experiences that also make me curious about a couple of things. You do start the University of Alabama in the middle of this month. I think I read somewhere, are you in the honors program?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is wonderful. But I myself have attended college at a large university, and I have been to graduate school. And so I understand the time constraints, the culture changes, and just life changes that come in this period of life. So I'm curious to know how you think you can manage a major life change and coming back and forth and serving the people of Trussville.
Well, I've already started planning to be able to serve the people, because with the way I set up my schedule, I don't have classes on Tuesday or Thursday, and I'll be able to come back for every meeting. And in the afternoons, I'm always free, every day. So I'll be able to come back and serve the people, meet citizens, do whatever I need to do. And I feel like I'll be able to get involved with activities and clubs on campus, but at the same time still be able to serve the people.
That's what I was wondering about, because realistically, that looks free on your schedule now, but it changes when you're on campus. So do you worry if you were to win that you may miss out on your experience at Alabama?
I'm not worried about that at all. I think that I've been prepared so well through my high school education and other experiences like UA Early College, which I did last summer, that with time management that I'll be able to do everything I want to do and still serve the people of Trussville.
Okay, and following up on that, you are young, right out of high school, just beginning your college career. What do you feel like you have to bring to the table versus your opposition, one who owns a business and has run it for years in Trussville, the second who is a financial expert and has run an important committee, among others, in Trussville. They have some, between the two of them, even Mr. Brewer has served on the city council years ago. So that's a lot of experience. How can you, what can you bring to the table compared to that?
Well, I'm young, I'm enthusiastic, and I'm really, I feel like I'm really in tune with the issues that the people think are important. And I'll bring a whole new perspective to the city council. Our young people don't have enough of a voice in Trussville, in my opinion, and I think that I can bring that to the city council.
Yeah, staying with the experience aspect, in life experiences, Anthony, and you made a good point there that you will bring a different viewpoint, a younger viewpoint to the council. Jeff, to you, what life experiences are you bringing to this office that would be unique to anything that's offered currently?
Well, I spent the last 30 plus years managing municipal bond portfolios where I have analyzed municipal credits, seen municipal budgets, delved into it. I also, in that capacity, have interacted with various political figures, both at a county level, other cities in our area, as well as state, and most recently federal, where I was a seat pal with Senator Sessions. So, I think those kind of things certainly add to attracting things to our city. And as I mentioned in my opening, the past 5 years of being involved with the Downtown Redevelopment Authority, analyzing the issues, the problems, working with the architect, working with the team that we have to put that in place, I feel like that I can understand, appreciate, and really get that across the finish line.
You mentioned your experience in trading bonds. Obviously, a lot of city funding comes from municipal bonds. Have you dealt specifically with municipal bonds, and if so, with what cities have you been involved?
I have dealt specifically with municipal bonds. I currently manage a municipal bond portfolio of about $45 or $50 million. And it is with municipalities all over the country, not only just within Alabama. And locally, I have worked with the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center, with Jefferson County, with Trussville. I have actually been involved in an underwriting with Trussville several years ago, and Leeds, all the surrounding areas. Various authorities and agencies within the state, Alabama Housing Finance Authority, the list goes on.
I want to go back to downtown redevelopment a little bit, okay, and touch on a couple of things. Jeff, we'll start with you. This question is for both of you, but we'll start with you, Jeff. What is the greatest obstacle to downtown redevelopment right now?
Right now, it has been, and in my estimation, it's eased up some because we are approaching an election, August the 23rd. But it was the mayor's office. I'll just call it like I see it and like I have experienced it. When we would try to do things, we would get support of the council, and we felt like that the administration of our city was dragging their feet and not pushing forward to accomplish the things that we felt like we needed to accomplish.
Can you give a specific example of that?
Specifically, you know, we have had delays on purchasing properties, closing of properties. Most recently, you know, we saw a delay on one particular piece of property we were trying to close, and it got delayed at least 90 days from a period of time of when it should be. You know, the city has ordinances that needed to be enforced. If you've ridden down Marr Avenue, I'm sure that you have experienced some of the loveliness of the abandoned cars, junk cars, whatever they might be, salvageable cars that need to be moved. We have ordinances against those kind of things, and those ordinances need to be enforced. It becomes the responsibility of the city's chief administrative officer to do that. In a city like Trussville, that CEO, that chief administrative officer, happens to reside in the mayor's office.
Thank you. Anthony, same question for you. What is the greatest obstacle in downtown redevelopment?
This moment to downtown redevelopment, including the mayor's office. And I think another major obstacle is the debris and everything that's in our downtown, like Jeff mentioned, the abandoned cars, everything, the rundown buildings. And if we're going to redevelop our downtown, we need to be able to clean up all of that, because we can't revitalize if we have all of these rundown buildings and abandoned cars.
Well, continuing on with downtown redevelopment, what needs to be the immediate next step after this? I feel like things have kind of really slowed down on the council until this election. So if you're to fill that seat, what needs to be the very first step to get things moving in the right direction? Anthony, we can start with you this time.
The very first thing we need to do is clean up the downtown area. With like I just mentioned, the abandoned cars, rundown buildings, everything like that. We need to be able to clean that up, and once we clean up that, we'll be able to move forward with the plans to redevelop the downtown area.
Jeff, same question. What's first?
The Redevelopment Authority has adopted and designed and developed a plan that we just need to put in motion. And to put that in motion, we need the funding. We need again, city administration to agree to let's go forward. I think the council is all on board with it, and just push forward. You know, we have come up with a design that makes sense. The first thing that the city needs to do is to create some off-street parking for downtown merchants, the merchants that we have now that we can make better. We've got a plan that most people have seen either in the publications that you guys have done, at some forum that we've had, whatever the case. I think most people certainly viewing this have been exposed to that. I think most people would agree that it's a good plan, and it's been hashed out, it's been sweated over, and I think it just needs to be now. Let's go, crank it up.
Okay, continuing this discussion, recently a proposal was brought before the city council that included two buildings on Main Street, this being one of the buildings and the building next door. And the proposal was that the city purchase an alleyway behind this building, and the property owner had agreed to take all of the proceeds of that sale and invest in revitalizing the facade of this building, which would match drawings done by the Downtown Redevelopment Authority. Had you been on council at the time, would you have voted yes or no on that proposal?
I would have voted yes on that proposal, because if we're going to redevelop the downtown, we have to actually take action to redevelop our downtown. And when that didn't happen, it was a big step back for the redevelopment of downtown.
Jeff, what would your position have been?
You know, Scott, I think I would have had to put some caveats in it, quite frankly, to make sure that everybody understood, number one, it was the city doing it and not the Redevelopment Authority, because the Redevelopment Authority is also in the midst of designing and getting adopted a plan that would allow for people to apply for grants where they could redo the face of their building. And we need to be very, very cautious that we don't cross the line where we jeopardize the potential grants that we can do moving forward, because certainly we would like to enhance this building, but there's several more that really need to be done.
So is that a no? You would have voted no on that proposal?
Probably as the proposal came, yeah, I would have voted no.
Okay, thank you.
We mentioned to both of you beforehand that we wanted to give you the opportunity to ask each other a question. So we want to do that now. And Jeff, we'll start with you, and you can ask Anthony.
Well, I'm going to stay in the same vein that you've asked already and say when you're asked to be involved in the college Republicans at the University of Alabama and they want you to join that organization and take time to be involved in that, are you going to tell them no so you can serve the city of Trussville when you're asked to be involved in student council, student government at the University of Alabama? Are you going to decline those opportunities to stay the next 4 years committed to serving the city of Trussville?
I don't think I'm going to have to decline those opportunities because I feel I'm really well prepared with time management skills and things like that to serve the city and be able to be involved on college Republicans. And I'm actually going to be the founding vice chair of the Young Americans for Freedom chapter down at Alabama. And I feel like I'll be able to serve and do all of those things that I want to do while I'm down there.
My admiration's going up for you even more, Anthony.
Anthony, you have a question for Jeff?
What is your specific plan to finish the projects like Civitan Park and other unfinished city projects?
To finish Civitan Park, and we discussed that earlier, is just move forward and put the heat on ALDOT to get it done. As a council, as a mayor, we're going to have a new mayor. We just need to move forward. Other unfinished projects, much the same way. We've got basically a project underway with the new library. You know, we need to push that forward. We need to get it done. If we're going to get it behind a project, let's get it finished. If we're going to move public works to the old Gold Kiss chicken plant, let's move public works so we can make downtown and that residential area of the project be the residential area of the project.
Thank you both. You caught us over here conspiring and discussing our next question. We're going to move to another subject now. There has been recently a proposal, it's been tabled, so nothing's happening on it now, but there's been a proposal to raise the lodging tax in Trussville. Trussville's current lodging tax, we believe, and we just checked with some sources, we believe the current lodging tax is 3%. The surrounding areas, Brandon, what did you find on the surrounding areas?
Most everybody in the Birmingham metro area has increased from 3 to 6%. So on top of the Jefferson County lodging tax, it starts to get up around 14%. Birmingham's at 17.5% currently.
So here's the question. Would you support raising Trussville's lodging tax? And this is a tax that motels and hotels charge guests that stay overnight. Would you support raising it to an average of the surrounding communities? And if you supported that, where would you like to see that money spent? We'll start with you, Jeff.
I would support that. I think the best way to pay for our projects are to get our visitors to help us pay for them. So I think that's a great idea. Where would I use it? And by the way, all my Republican friends, I really don't support tax increases. But where would it be used? I'd like to see 100% of it allocated to downtown redevelopment. I'm passionate about that cause.
I would support an increase in the lodging tax because the lodging tax isn't a tax on the people of Trussville, it's a tax on the people coming to visit Trussville. And it doesn't put more of a burden on the people of our city. And as to where I'd like to see that money spent, I think downtown redevelopment would be great, and we could also put some more money into our police department to make sure they're well equipped to do their jobs.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we want to talk about how the city is operated. Right now we have a mayor that essentially serves as the CEO of the city, handling the day-to-day business. Some cities choose to go the city manager route. What's your position on that? Do we need a city manager, or are we good with a full-time mayor. Jeff, we'll start with you.
Well, the council decided 3 or 4 years ago that they wanted the mayor-council system where you had a strong mayor and the council to be more of the legislative arm, and that was enacted, and so the mayor's salary was raised to attract different candidates, etc. If you were going to move to a manager type, you'd certainly have to go to a part-time mayor. You couldn't, as a city, you wouldn't want to support the salaries of all of those people, a city our size. Maybe if we were 3 times this size, that'd be a different issue. As far as me personally, I can see pros and cons to both venue, quite frankly. If you're going to change to a manager system, though, you can't do it within 2 years of an election anyway. I mean, that's state statute that enforces that. So that decision would have to wait until after this election and figure out what to do. I've seen goods and bads on both cases.
Well, I think we're either going to need to have a full-time mayor or a part-time mayor and a full-time city manager. And we just gave the next mayor a really big pay raise. And if we're going to pay the mayor that much, they need to be the full-time mayor, and we wouldn't need a city manager. And I think all the people running for mayor are capable of serving in that capacity.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate both of you being here. We tried to focus on questions that we thought were relative to our viewers and to the people of Trussville. You both handled them well. We appreciate that. You were both patient as we walked through the process. We're going to move now to the closing statements. Who started with our opening statements? Anthony did. Jeff, we'll start with you on the closing statements.
Okay, very good. Well, again, thanks to the viewers, thanks to the Trussville Tribune for hosting this. I certainly hope that you have heard some things that will help you make your determination as far as what you need to do on August the 23rd. If you haven't registered, you do have a few more days. Voter registration to be able to vote in the 23rd election is August the 8th, so make sure that you get that accomplished and done. And be sure and turn out and vote on August the 23rd. If elected to the mayor, if elected to the city council, I'm really not running for mayor. I'm running for city council, place number 3. I can assure you that my passion will continue to be, much as it has been, in revitalizing, redeveloping downtown, attracting some businesses down there, retaining the ones we have, to truly make it a destination where people would come. It's exciting when I hear the young people that have been involved in my campaign, the excitement level that they have about having a downtown excites me. So it's a lot of fun to think about. I think we've got a good plan. I would like to push to see that plan put in. I would like to see our city continue to be a wonderful place to live. And do a few things. We've got good police and fire protection. We've got great schools, and we need a downtown destination. And then we truly can push forward to make Trussville the town that we dream to live in.
I'd like to once again start off by thanking the Trussville Tribune for hosting this forum. Having informed voters is key to the future success of our city. And that's what this election is all about. The future and the ideas and perspectives that will allow for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren to achieve their American dream. I hear from most voters that it's time for change in our city. And my answer to them is that if we keep electing the same kind of people, we're not going to get any change. And nothing will change. Thank you, and I hope I'll have your support on August 23rd.
Thank you both, gentlemen.
Another great forum.
It is. Downtown. That's what people want to talk about.
It
And so
is.
We've got a lot of emphasis on
Yeah.
that.
There's no question that is one of the main issues moving forward in the Trussville election. Obviously, other cities have different priorities, but that's what we hear most from our readers. So it's not surprising that that's a topic and that candidates have strong feelings there. I continue to be impressed with office after office after office, the strength of the candidates that are offering themselves for service in this election.
I do too, and it's a tough job to fill.
It really
takes
is.
a lot of time, and it's a commitment.
Okay, we'll be back next week, August 10th.
August 10th.
For the mayoral candidates forum. That'll be the Trussville mayoral candidates forum. So join us. That'll be starting at 6:30. Is that our
That's right.
plan?
Yep, 6:30.
Okay. And thank you for joining us tonight. Please share this with your friends and help spread the message of the candidates. Thank you.
Thank you.